Is there a better rivalry than Real Madrid versus Manchester City in the Champions League? I don't think so. I think that is the best rivalry in the Champions League in the past 5 years. Hands down, it is entertaining. Even if you don't like those teams, you like to watch their games because you know goals are going to be scored. You know it's usually going to be close games. There's going to be ebbs and flows in that entire two-leg series between Manchester City and Real Madrid. Rivalries get us to love sport even more. And I think the matchmakers for the MLS, the people that sat down, created the schedule for the 2025 MLS season, they want San Diego FC and LA Galaxy to be a rivalry. I mean, what more could you want than two teams being chippy, facing each other, both good, both playing well, both have big name stars on each team, drawing in not only the fans of those teams, but the fans of soccer, the casual fans that might not watch soccer otherwise, just because this can be a great rivalry game. We're going to need to build up to it, and we got a lot of catching up to do because, as y'all know, if y'all watch the MLS, if y'all been following soccer, the LA Galaxy are the cream of the crop when we're talking about the MLS. They've won 6 titles, the most out of any MLS team, and we play them in our first match. The matchmakers want this to be a rivalry. The matchmakers want this to get a little dirty. The matchmakers hope that it brings more people in to watching MLS soccer because you have two really, really, really good soccer markets facing each other. And it's always a little bit tricky because if you watch MLS, you know about El Tráfico, LAFC versus LA Galaxy, and that is one of the big rivalries. I think one of the best names for a rivalry ever, El Tráfico LA. But also it's LA on LA, so, you know, how big is the market? It's only sometimes in LA. When you have teams outside of the same market, even though San Diego is SoCal, it still will bring more intensity. It'll bring more viewership. It will bring more of a rivalry, even though, LA be set tripping sometimes. So LA versus LA can get physical, can get rough. El Tráfico is a great, great type of clásico. But this can be the premier rivalry of the MLS because of the markets, because of the players that are on these teams. But what a tough matchup for the first regular season game ever for San Diego FC. They go up against the Goliath of the MLS. They won the championship last year. Again, 6 championships in the bag, in the trophy case. And we get to see it all happen. All of this fandom, pandemonium, excitement on February 23rd. This weekend at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we get to see the first ever San Diego FC regular season game. But also I think we get to see the start of a rivalry because San Diego is only going to continue to grow. And then the viewership of these two teams is going to be phenomenal. So we are here at the Penalty Kick Podcast to break down all the pregame analysis. We have a game prediction at the end of this episode. But do we have a chance to win? And if we do, how can we win? We're going to analyze and break down the game of how San Diego FC can win this game. We're going to break down what are some of the weaknesses within the LA Galaxy team and how can we get the win? How can we maybe even get some points? That is going to be big, and it is going to happen right here, right now, and we're going to give you the real deal Holyfield. We keep it real on the Penalty Kick Podcast. I am definitely a supporter of San Diego FC, but I'm not a fanatic. I don't know if I'm a fanatic really about anything. I want to give you the real. I want to break this down and make sure we see how we can strategize to beat this team, to beat the champs. Because if they are Goliath, we gonna be David. So how is David gonna pull this one off? So we got to start with the LA Galaxy. We have to start with understanding how they want to play, understanding how they want to line up, and then how does that work with our formation? But also, who are the players on the field? And we got to keep it real. You're a champ for a reason. You have good players on your team. You have a good coach. You have a solidity, a continuity of how to play together. There's a lot of unspoken things that happen on a pitch, on a field. A lot goes into playing on a team sport and getting to know each other and know where to be, how to be, who to cover who to pass to when. And that comes through playing together for a long, long time. But the Galaxy, they lost a couple players. They lost some players that actually saw some, field time. Brugman, Neal, Delgado, Dejan are now with other teams, right? So we could take advantage of that potentially, right? Does the depth of that team get diminished? Do one of these players who play a big role in the team, how does the hole get filled? And does it get filled by someone of equal stature, of equal skill? Those are going to be questions. But also, it's not a massive overhaul of the team. Even if they were all starters, that'd be 4 out of the 11 players on the field are the 11 starters. So that means they have 7 individuals that are potentially all coming back and playing together, right? Even if they just lose those people and they didn't sign anyone else. So they're going to be organized. They're going to have a wherewithal about how they play, how they want to play. Are we as a San Diego FC still figuring that out? We have only had 3 open door preseason games. We had 2 closed door preseason games, but our 5 games, potentially preseason games at that, do they get us to where we need to go to be ready to play a team such as this? I will say the LA Galaxy did not look good in their preseason. They only won 1 game. They lost 2 and they tied another. But it's preseason and they're champs. So how do we attack weaknesses? What are their weaknesses? I'll tell you this, when you're a champ, you probably don't have many weaknesses. Their back line looked a lot better last year, and I think that was a big reason they lifted the trophy. They improved on the back line. They improved on defense, improved on not giving up goals. And what they're known for is their attacking. They're really, really good. They have great attacking prowess. They will put the ball in the back of the net. So where's the weakness? I found one. They're missing one of their star players to injury, Ricky Puig. He is a dominant midfielder. He is the type of midfielder that I like to talk about Luca De La Torre as being the machine that facilitates everything, the centerpiece of that midfielder. They can facilitate. They can make things happen. They can break down the middle of the field, and they can break down the defense with a good pass or running through the defense and even scoring. Ricky Puig does all that, and he's probably, to me, the star of that team. He ain't going to be playing. So what does that mean? How do we attack that? Who is going to take Ricky Puig's place? The advantage, again, they play together. They know each other. They've been through a long season. They know what it takes to win. They're going to have the upper hand in every facet of the game. They are the Goliath of MLS. But at the end of the day, even though they got good players, even though it's going to be a challenge, we know in sport, and especially in soccer, no win is ever guaranteed. That's why you play the game. There's upsets all the time. And again, when we're speaking about soccer, if we tie the game, that's a win for us. If we win the game, that is phenomenal for us. The pressure is going to be on the champs. So we need to play the game. And we need to attack that weakness. We need to attack their formation. We need to attack the substitute player, which I will get to in a moment, who is going to be replacing Ricky Puig in the midfield. We can't be scared of him. David was not scared of Goliath and how big Goliath was. He just knew what he needed to do to win. So what do we need to do? We need to be David. We need to play smart. We need to play within ourselves. Make sure that we play with confidence in our passing, but don't be reckless. We can't give up cheap goals. We got to look back at San Diego FC's preseason game. Their first game, they lost 3-0. Their second game, they lost 3-1. Thankfully, in our third game, we blew out New York Red Bulls 5-0. But we also lost 2 games and won 1 game. That is the record. Also, in 2 games, we gave up 3 goals, which is quite a lot. And I don't think we can give up more than really 1 goal to have a really good chance at winning this game. We have to play smart. We have to play within ourselves. We have to be David. Where is our advantage? What do we have in our toolkit that we can use to knock them down? I think our strengths are really on the wings. Chucky Lozano, Dreer, see how Ingvarsson does. We had a great game against the New York Red Bulls. Can that be sustained? Can they counter? Because when we've looked really the best is either on a counterattack or with the strategy that Mikey Vadas and San Diego FC want, inviting pressure so there's space in the back where Chucky and Dreer can just run in behind. And even Luca de la Torre down the middle, especially if Ingvarsson comes back toward the ball, leaves space in the back. And that is how Luca de la Torre scored against the Red Bull. So we can attack them, but we need perfectly timed passes. We can't turn the ball over in the back. That is a recipe for disaster. That is a recipe to get blown out. I do think that the loss of Puig is really big for LA Galaxy, and they're going to replace Ricky Puig with an absolutely legendary player, actually. Marco Reus. He used to play for Dortmund. He played, a long career in Dortmund. German international, has caps for Germany, so he's played for the German team. This is a phenomenal player, but Marco Reus is 35 years old. And if you know anything about sport in the sense of father time is undefeated. You lose a step. You can't jump as high, run as fast, move as quickly. And everyone else around you is usually getting almost younger, as odd as that sounds in sport. But the younger people usually come in and take people's places, especially when they can't run as much, when they can't play the full 90 minutes, or you get out of shape because maybe you're just not in tune with that part of your career because you're at the end of it. To win this game, we need to attack Marco Reus. Luca de la Torre needs to attack Marco Reus. Zverkov, Godoy, or Valkyrie need to attack Reus. Make him run. Make him play defense. Make him look like he's not there and like they only have 2 midfielders. If we overrun them in the midfield, we have a chance to win. But we need to control that midfield. We need to be smart passing out the back so we can get it to our midfielders. But you attack Marco Reus, you have a chance to win. But he's still a phenomenal player. He can do things on the offensive end that could potentially hurt us. One of the things that's interesting is both teams are going to be running a 4-3-3. With LA Galaxy, they run their 4-3-3, usually with 2 defensive center mids, where we run our 4-3-3 kind of with more 2 attacking midfielders, 1 center defensive midfielder. So if we can, again, make Reus exhausted, make Reus look like he's old, that means it's going to be a 3-on-2 in the midfield. And then we can open up the lanes for passing out wide and get it to our star players, Chucky, Dreer. I think that is the recipe for a win and how San Diego FC gets a win in this game. But we're going to need to be great because LA Galaxy are great. They're the champs. And if you're going to meet a great team at any time in the season, it's got to be the beginning of the season, because what I'm hoping is LA Galaxy is on a championship hangover. You win the championship and you go party. You win the championship, you go on vacation, celebrate. You win the championship, you have a shorter off season than most other teams. So if you're going to play a great team at any time, the first game might be the best time to play that. And I think that is going to be a factor. I think there is going to be a slight hangover. I do think that they're going to need to revamp themselves to get up for another season. It's really hard to go through all that emotion of a regular season, playoffs, win a championship, celebrate that championship, and then just turn the intensity back on. So what I'm hoping is that we come out with the most intensity. We come out going into tackles hard. We need to make the game a little bit dirty. We need to make the game a little bit chippy. We need to maybe slow the tempo down when they're, running on their wings and they have their attacking prowess. Can we stop that movement going forward from LA Galaxy? And sometimes you take a tactical foul. That's what they're there for. Make sure you don't get sent off. Make sure you don't get a second yellow, but take the foul. And that is what's going to take to win this game. And with all that being said, we got to get into the predictions. Who is going to win this game? Because we know Galaxy are pretty much good all over the field. But can we hold down our defense? Can we win the midfield? Can we keep the LA Galaxy from scoring more than 2 goals? The game prediction: LA Galaxy are going to win this game 2-1. And I hope I'm wrong, because I want San Diego FC to win. I want LA Galaxy to have that hangover. I want to see LA as a sports city not win. We know if you in San Diego, you don't like seeing LA sports franchises win, and we need to take that. So hopefully I am wrong. Hopefully San Diego FC wins. But at the Penalty Kick Podcast, we bring you the real. We bring you real analysis. We bring you real updates. We bring you real predictions. Because I am a supporter, but again, I'm never a fanatic. So this is the Penalty Kick Podcast. I'm Mike Geo, and I hope you get a chance to watch. You get a chance to maybe go to Carson and go see the game, but see history happen with the first regular season game in San Diego FC's franchise history on February 23rd at 4 p.m. I'll be watching, and I'll bring you all that post-game coverage in the next episode.